one of the strongest coding AI models tested still could not finish a single evolving software challenge cleanly from start to finish. That is a useful reality check at a moment when companies are rushing to hand more work to AI agents. Welcome to the Automated Daily Hacker News Edition, the podcast created by Generative AI. I'm Trent Teller, and today is July 28th, 2026. In this episode, we have a major earthquake in Japan, a very large Apple security update, fresh arguments over OpenAI models and enterprise security, a new case for companies training their own models, a reality check on coding agents, a meaningful Go runtime upgrade, and a couple of lighter but still interesting science and history notes. This episode is brought to you by Gamma. Gamma lets you effortlessly use AI to design for presentations, websites, and more. Find the link in the episode notes. We begin in Japan, where a magnitude 7.1 earthquake struck the Kumamoto region at a shallow depth of around 10 kilometers. The strongest reported shaking reached the top intensity level of 7 in Uki City, with nearby parts of Kumamoto and a wide area across Kyushu seeing very severe shaking as well. What makes this especially important is not just the headline magnitude, but the combination of shallow depth and broad reach. That is the kind of event that can translate into serious local damage while also disrupting infrastructure and daily life far beyond the immediate epicenter. On the security front, Apple has released macOS Tahoe 26.26, and this is one of those updates that should not sit in the background for long. The patch closes a long list of vulnerabilities touching the OS and WebKit, including bugs that could expose user data, break out of app restrictions, bypass privacy controls, or in some cases gain very deep system access. The bigger point here is that the affected attack surface is ordinary computing itself. Files, images, media, web content, even locked device scenarios. When a security release spans that many everyday pathways, it usually means updating quickly is the smart move. AI policy is still splitting into two conversations at once, openness and control. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei says the company is not calling for a blanket ban on open weights models, pushing back on the idea that this is mainly about protecting incumbents. Instead, he argues the higher priority is national security, limiting advanced chips from reaching China, stopping large-scale model distillation, and requiring safety testing for capable systems whether they are open or closed. In parallel, Google is arguing that enterprise security also needs a rethink for the AI era. Its Beyond Zero proposal says traditional zero-trust models are too focused on humans and apps, while AI agents act at machine speed and can touch far more data. Taken together, these stories show where the industry is heading, less debate over simple labels, and more pressure for real controls around capability, access, and accountability. There's also a growing case that the best enterprise AI strategy may be to own more of the stack instead of renting intelligence through frontier APIs forever. One new case study describes a company building a task-specific model for catalog review using its own workflow, rules, and evaluation loop. The headline result was not just better performance than the frontier setups they tested, but dramatically lower cost at scale. That matters because a lot of business work is repetitive, high volume, and easy to score for correctness once the rules are clear. In those situations, a smaller model trained on company reality may beat a larger general model that never fully learns the local playbook. That idea lands at the same time as a useful reality check for coding agents. A benchmark on evolving software tasks found that Claude Opus 5 did better than earlier variants, but still only managed a modest, strict pass rate, and none of the tested models completed an entire challenge cleanly from beginning to end. The pattern was familiar. As requirements changed, the code got more verbose, more tangled, and less maintainable. That is important because real software development is rarely a one-shot answer. It is usually a moving target. And this benchmark suggests current frontier models still struggle when the job becomes long-running upkeep instead of a single burst of generation. For Go developers, one quiet but important improvement is now in the runtime itself. Go 124 has replaced its long-standing map implementation with a design inspired by Swiss table techniques. In plain terms, the language now handles one of its most common data structures more efficiently, with better cache behavior and faster lookups, inserts, and iteration in many workloads. Since maps sit in the middle of so many Go programs, improvements here can ripple outward into real applications without any code changes. It is the kind of under-the-hood upgrade that most users never see directly, but many systems will feel. A lighter science story today came from a microbiology researcher who wondered whether boiling water would kill the bacteria in a probiotic tea. After brewing and testing samples, the answer turned out to be more interesting than expected. Bacterial colonies still showed up, and DNA testing pointed to Bacillus coagulans BC30, a spore-forming organism that can survive harsh conditions. The useful takeaway is that survival claims for some probiotic products may be more plausible than they first sound. But survival is not the same thing as proven health benefit, so the experiment also highlights the gap between clever marketing and solid clinical evidence. And finally, a good note for historians of science. Ars Astronomica has expanded its collection of English translations of older Hebrew and Latin works on astronomy, cosmology, geometry, and calendar calculation. The project is making difficult, sometimes manuscript-only material far more accessible to researchers who want to compare how different traditions approach the structure of the cosmos and the mathematics behind it. In a week full of AI and security news, it is a nice reminder that opening knowledge is not a new idea. We have simply built faster tools for it. Thanks to our sponsor, 11 Labs. 11 Labs lets you discover the future of AI audio with cutting-edge voice technology. Find the link in the episode notes. That is the roundup for July 28, 2026. Links to all stories can be found in the episode notes. Thanks for listening to the Automated Daily Hacker News Edition, and I'll be back with more tomorrow.